business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Ramona. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the pod.
Welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. Every episode is an invitation, a reminder that business and life isn't just about profit, it's about purpose. It's about showing up with a servant's heart in every deal, every decision, every day to make a powerful impact on others. My guest is going to talk AI, humans, and technology. Yes, because I love that stuff. He's going to light you up. He's got over 30 years experience, so he's going to teach you. He's going to tell you stories. He's going to motivate you. He's going to challenge you. But I think most importantly, you're going to walk away tools that inspire action, both in your lives and the lives of others, so you can go serve them as well. Before we dive in, here's your homework today, audience. How are you going to serve yourself and others today? Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait till next week. Start today. It doesn't have to be a big impact. Even a small act of kindness or courage can change the game. So lean in, take notes. Let's discover how servant leadership and business can create ripple effects that last far beyond the bottom line. Quick shout out to my sponsor, Epic Impact, the only universal emotionally resonant messaging framework that works anywhere for any audience. This 4-step system transformed how I pitch, how I social media post, and how I develop my podcast. You engage, persuade, inspire, and close with clarity. Telling the story. I use it daily, and it's incredible. Grab your free trial at epicimpact.ai with promo code Steve to start inspiring action today. And thank you, audience and guests. We hit top 20 in small business marketing, all podcasts, million people. So thank you, because you know what? We are impacting people, and that's the whole goal here. With that being said, let's bring Mike on. Mike, welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart.
Thank you, Steve. Good to be here.
LSA Digital, let's jump into your business. You've had 30 years of experience. What has it taught you to launch this business?
Launching this business has been the latest of my adventures in my career. So I went from, working at a small utility company, kind of growing up with, process design and helping build websites and so on. And then eventually went to big consulting with KPMG, learned a lot about different businesses. And that kind of prepared me to launch LSA Digital to do digital transformation for both government and commercial organizations. So it's been quite a ride, and watching the whole AI evolution kind of change my own business and kind of change my own focus, but still thinking about how the humans really interact with the AI, because the traditional stuff, even all the technology that we've been using for many, many years, it's been just disappeared, right? We just got to figure out a way to work more effectively with it.
Well, you said a word that really caught my ear. I've talked to a lot of digital tech AI experts, and there are a lot of them out there, which is great. Transformation. Well, let's talk about transformation digitally. What does that mean? What's it look like?
I like that you asked that question, and generally most folks think it's putting in new technology. It's like buying computer systems, and it's making sure that the computer systems can produce a good outcome. And that is true. That's part of it. And it goes from cloud infrastructure. We used to talk about cloud when a lot of companies weren't even on cloud yet. And me cloud first and all those kinds of things. That was typically wrapped up in digital transformation. These days, I especially, because I'm an agile person, right? I like to think about delivering value to the market as fast as possible, right? Without crashing the car, so to speak, right? And to, governance guidelines, all those kinds of things. So we like to talk about, instead of digital transformation, I say it because everyone recognizes it, but I like to call it continuous improvement, right? How can we continuously improve? How can we do better? Because the world is changing around us, whether you're a single person or whether you are a company, you have to react to your environment, and it's always changing. So what does that mean in terms of my workforce? What does that mean in terms of my technology? Even the strategy of how I'm looking at my delivering value to the market, when my products change, right? That's what it means to truly be agile. And that's why we have to think about continuously improving, not just one-time transform.
You're scoring grand slams with me, because being agile is so important to business, because technology is moving fast. We'll look at AI today, what it did I mean, I talked to a gentleman that started AI 25 years ago with governments and stuff. Unbelievable stuff. It's been around for a while, but how would you work with a business to make it more agile in technology?
Especially these days where AI is the now sweeping revolution across the industry. One thing, you know what a hype cycle is, where some technology comes out, blockchain, for example, and everyone's talking about blockchain for a while, and it's really called it's a distributed ledger, is what it really is, and then it just falls off. But some things are kind of once in a decade, sometimes even once in a lifetime. The last time I saw something as big of a deal as AI was cloud. And cloud had a lasting impact. It changed the way everything worked in terms of infrastructure, and it dramatically accelerated value to the market and made things much faster and repeatable and secure. AI is bigger than cloud. It is something that is going to dramatically change the way, it is already changing dramatically the way that humans interact with technology and get things done faster and more effectively, right? And this is the reason that we now talk about human AI pretty frequently. And we actually went so far, we're developing what we call the human AI framework, and we registered human-ai.com to kind of say, hey, here's how it works, freely available, here's all the knowledge, right? Let's figure out how we can work more effectively and deliver faster value working together, not against AI.
Well, you open Pandora's box, Mike, big time, and in a good way. But you'll hear it. I hear it. Oh, it's going to take over humans. It's going to be the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. I always forget the name of it. Doesn't matter. But
Terminator.
Terminator. Thank you. Talk about the humanization, because you mentioned it before the show. Humanization of AI. You mentioned it here on the show. What's that look like for that person that says, "I'm scared"?
Yeah, there's a couple ways to answer that. First of all, I'll answer from everyday kind of what everyone can do right now. I know folks hear about Chat GPT. Folks have been hearing about that ever since it blew up late 2024, early 25, right? And a lot of folks are kind of still dubious and don't want to kind of jump in yet. Do it is my advice. Just go to chatgpt.com as soon as you're done listening to Steve and I here, and then just ask a question about, hell, hydrangeas. I don't know anything about flowers. And I started saying, hey, my hydrangeas are dying. I don't know what to do with this. And it just, not only does it says, take a picture, let me see. And it's able to see that the specific kind of wilting that's going on means that there's something with the overwatering. Like I was too anxiously overwatering these things. I had no idea. And it just solves problems like that, because it's like a walking encyclopedia that can adjust to the question and the context in which you're asking it. It's just powerful how you just depend on it after a while, right? And you can go to chatgpt.com, you can use it for free for a while. They're like drug dealers, right? They'll be like, you got to pay the $20 a month after a while, and they'll be like, I'd pay $100 a month. Right?
Yeah, yeah,
That's the first thing people should do, is just really just jump in and do it, is my first advice, right?
beautiful.
The second answer to that is for an organization, a company, a government agency. So thinking about, how do we actually leverage this to make it effective for our customers, right? Of course, the first thing to do is to think about, and I know this always happens, is they just jump in with technology. Remember to our point earlier about digital transformation, too much technology. They just start spinning up pilots and don't think about the data that needs to be powering the AI, right? They don't think about the experience of how the process changes, and how humans and AI interact together, which is the focus that we have, right? They just start throwing out pilots. And recently, you know, it's been well published that 95% of AI initiatives are failing because of these reasons. Both the organizations aren't really thinking about data. They aren't really thinking about how the humans and the AI are going to work together effectively. Um, and they don't have what's called machine learning operations, the cycle of development of retraining your AI to make sure it is effectively delivering value, what that you expect, and it's governed well, right? Those things aren't quite there yet, right? So it's important both to sum it up, my answer. So it's important for individual people to start experimenting. It's important for organizations to think about, why am I doing this? What value am I delivering to market? Right? Which goes back to continuous improvement. Everything's changing. So think about it.
Man, you're a smart guy. He's so much younger than me. He's teaching the old guy new tricks. And I love it because internet came out, what, 97? And how many people still didn't have website? Websites suck. Same thing here. Now, if you don't have a website, you're really missing out. Same thing with AI. And what I love that you said that it's free. How much stuff, I mean, a lot of free apps you can try, but it gives you the impact that it does. It's so powerful. But that leads to mindset. You must work with a lot of companies on their agile mindset. How's that work?
Agile mindset's powerful. It's really powerful. It's one of those things it's the way that we develop software. It's not like some flashy new technology like AI or cloud. I mean, it's a method. It's how we actually develop. It's how we actually think, right? I mean, of course, there's a lot of practices and specific things that folks say you should do, and that's going to depend on the company and how much you should do. Don't overdo it is generally, but you got to think about the principles of it. And scaledagileFramework.com is kind of our partner for it's Scaled Agile is how you actually do Agile, which started with just software, right? Agile was about little chunks of stories and being able to deploy software to the market, to release it on cadence, to deploy it continuously, right? But it's gotten so much bigger than that. It solves much bigger problems and connects the software to the business capabilities, to the strategy and the portfolio investment, right? So we find something like Scaled Agile to be a very convenient framework. Again, it's not the kind of thing you use all the time, but it's very convenient to say, I need this piece here for this project I'm doing. I need this piece because we're at the point where we need to rethink our strategy and our portfolio investment plan. And you just grab them and use them. And it's a guiding principle that runs underneath whatever the technology is, including AI.
I love it. And this is, see what you're doing, which is, audience, I hope you're getting this. He's dumbing this down. I hate to use that word, but you're simplifying it for businesses. Because if you don't do it, you're missing out. If you buy too much, you're spent millions of dollars for stuff you're not even using. That goes down the toilet. It's a waste. I love this, but that leads to my question of collaboration. How important is it? Important at all?
It is paramount. And forget AI. It is from an agile principles perspective. That's one of the two main core ideas in agile is cadence and sync. So delivering on cadence, so being able to meet with your teams like Monday, Wednesday, Friday at a certain time, right? And then everyone knows we're going to meet and just synchronize, and we're going to tell each other that the things that we need to know and disappear in 15 minutes, right? That's just a quick example of basic collaboration, so we can all stay on the same page and make sure that we're not drifting far apart, right? Collaboration that's got one way to answer the word collaboration. Another way to answer it is, let's talk about, so company ABC wants to put out a new AI feature, a chat bot, right? And they say, okay, we're just going to throw this thing out there and it's going to answer questions to end users. But let's say that it starts going haywire and it starts saying all kinds of stuff that it starts, saying, hey, paste in your social security number here and we'll talk about what we need to, and you'll be like, oh my God, that's not what you're supposed to do, right? So the question becomes is, no matter what, this is a chatbot example, no matter what the AI technology is, how do we get the AI to collaborate with humans on the back end? So how do we raise a flag automatically when we say we need to get someone from operations or customer support involved because this chatbot is going off the rails right now? Or this person is asking it something that we want to get a person to answer instead of a chatbot right now. How do we do that? And that's one of the questions we answer, is making sure that humans and AI can collaborate effectively so humans don't let AI crash the car.
Right. And you just said something that AI collaborate with humans. Unbelievable, audience. That's what it is. That is, you get me fired up here. I don't use it well, I guess I'm usually fired up, especially with tech. So I appreciate that, because that's the key word is collaborate AI with human. It stays humanized. You don't let AI run your whole business. That's what I think people are fearful for. So I get asked all the time when I do shows. I know with this show, Mike, because you're so smart and you get it. What's a piece of advice that you learned, from your guests? So about whatever. So I'm going to ask you to answer this, so I don't have to answer it, I guess. What advice do you give a business that's trying to jump into this digital transformation journey?
One of the things I brought up earlier, first, think about what your core value proposition is.
Sure.
What do we really want to deliver to market as value? Communicate that to your portfolio management group so they can think about, so they want to go in this direction, get more market share in this area. Okay, what do we need to invest in? Do we need to bring in a completely different set of roles? Do we need to bring in a consulting firm to talk about? Do we need to buy new technology? The lean portfolio group then helps set the tone for the investments, right? Working with the technology folks and the business folks, right? And then they're able to start designing a plan. It's called lean portfolio management, where we actually invest a little bit at a time and we get some outcomes and we show the results, right? So that's kind of a full cycle approach that I would take in that. And again, this is in part of that scaled agile framework, is being agile at scale all the way up to the strategy level and making sure that each of the layers are in alignment so we can deliver, not just pontificate, because I've seen that, and I've seen it unfortunately in military, frequently in government, is leadership might pontificate something and say, we're going to go do this. And everyone scrambles trying to figure out what they mean and how that affects all their different teams. And it's just like a decentralized mess I think we should do this. And it's someone in a different agency or different part of the company is doing something completely different. And they're not really all working towards the same goal, right? So synchronization and collaboration, that's another reason it's important, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Audience, hope you're getting notes. I got a bunch of notes here that you better be taking, because this is all golden nuggets. These are $1 million ideas. This is not something that Mike's putting out there that's going to have your admin answer the phone faster. That's good. But what you're talking about is scaling companies, not just growing, scaling. That's huge. So you're out there listening on a scale is your guy. So the other thing about this is hiring somebody like you, your company. Like I hear all the time, Mike, I don't have time. Oh, digital's here, AI's here. Then go hire somebody, right?
Yeah.
How important is that?
It's important to bring on the right folks at the right time, to really help energize and train and lead and give ideas and guidance to your existing staff, right? In an AI era where where the technology is kind of changing, I mean, this always happens, right? So technology comes on and you bring on some smart consultants or firms to help uplift the rest of your organization. In the case of AI, sometimes folks will say, folks will get on the social forums and say AI is not meant to replace humans and so on. That is somewhat true. Here's the thing. Humans and AI are supposed to collaborate well together, right? And the example I gave earlier about the human making sure that the AI doesn't do really dumb things, right? And stopping it when it does and injecting, right? Um, Humans, the reason they're able to do that is because they are experienced and have knowledge in the domain that the AI is acting, right? And they themselves know basics of AI, how to use Chat GPT. They understand prompting and things like that. So those are the humans that become highly valuable going forward in organizations. So when we say in a human AI context, AI is not meant to displace humans. It's actually not meant to displace those humans that can actually add value to the AI and work well together by applying their judgment, applying their empathy, right? Applying their decision-making capabilities and letting AI do the automation, right? Letting AI kind of, but it's a tricky balance, right? And I don't like to sugarcoat things. right? Those who are not adding the value and can't really apply judgment and strategic thinking, they're going to be the ones that management's going to say, okay, AI is expected to cut costs for us. Who do you think is going to be cut?
Yep.
This is the advice I give to people. It's why I say, if you haven't used Chat GPT yet, it is the simplest first thing you can do. And if it's whether it's your hydrangeas or some code at work, there's a program called Cursor out there. It helps you write code. I mean, it literally writes code for you. And if you're a programmer, I mean, there's just so many applications of AI. Dig in somewhere, start learning it, right? And learn, think about how that applies to your domain, what you're good at. What would you guide an AI on, right? In such a context or such a process. Those are the folks that will add a lot of value in the future.
Yeah. Your passion with this is so infectious. You're like, I gotta go build another computer right now. I told you earlier I did back in 78. This is what we need in this industry, your passion to value. Yeah, people, you got to pay for stuff. But if you're getting value out of it, that's what it's all about. We're coming to the end, which is sad, but I want to bring you back for part two because you get this and you really educate the audience. This is a tough question. I ask all my AI guys, but what do you see in 3 to 5 years from now, what this looks like, this technology and AI?
I'll flatly say I've never seen anything move as fast as AI before. I thought cloud moved fast, and I thought this is just incredible breakneck speed. We talk about a couple of benchmarks. So right now we're at ChatGPT 5, and it's incredibly powerful because it does more thinking and reasoning better. Then there's going to be AI. So really thinking about AI being incredibly powerful, super intelligent. Sometimes folks will hear that, where it's like it surpasses not only the judgment and capabilities of humans, but knows everything, right? That's far off, if ever. And like maybe like 20, I've heard projections of like 2035, 2037 for that kind of thing. But it's moving incredibly fast. And I see that not only is the technology moving fast, but the requirements needed to power it, like power plants we were talking about a little bit earlier before the show, of thinking about being more flexible and agility with respect to power. How do you do micro power plants, right? Instead of like micro nuclear reactors, for example, instead of these huge, massive power plants that are in one region where you need a lot of transmission lines to be able to send that power everywhere, right? Agile applies to power. Absolutely, right? Because we need all this power. And then the other part of it, the other side of it is there's an incredible, the reason that power is necessary is because of all the GPUs that need to be running in the power in the data centers to make AI work. Well, quantum computing might actually make that requirement go down eventually. So those are the two things to watch in terms of the things that AI depends on is power and quantum computing. I think that what happens with those will dramatically accelerate where AI goes in the future.
I love this. Has just been brilliant. And I'll leave with this. Gary Vee, I listened to him last week, was saying about AI. If you don't know him, look him up. He's a pretty brilliant marketer, I think. He says AI, all it's doing is giving us more time to do other things. You just said it earlier. It does this. Now Steve can go do this. It's not replacing us unless you make it do that. So this is brilliant. I'm gonna have a fun question for you. I like to end with. So I've got a reservation at a restaurant for you, table of 4. You're going to sit in one of the chairs. So you got 3 empty chairs. Who are you going to fight to have dinner with you, whether they're dead or alive, to get to know, mentor, ask questions? And I think the most important question is, what food would you order?
Food, steak. Absolutely. I'm a meat eater.
I'm in. Love
Ribeye,
it.
especially.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, uh, since you opened it up to living or dead, Benjamin Franklin, one of the most brilliant inventors of all time, and a statesman at that. Just those kind of folks that are incredibly diverse. I just have such respect for. And then the deep experts in technology and leadership, the folks that built Chat GPT. I'd have to grab one of them and have all kinds of detailed nerd out discussions. And then world leaders, folks like Bill Gates, who really invented something special and then gave something back to the world and continues to to try to do better. Those are the kind of folks that I would really like to have deep conversations with.
And it's a model that we need to duplicate over and over what Gates is doing. Just we got to duplicate that. You got money, take care of people. You got more than enough you need. So it's awesome. Mike, you've been a blessing. I mean, I met you today for the first time for 10 minutes. You far exceeded my expectations as a guest. Your knowledge and passion together, it's lighting people up. It's lit me up. So I know people want to reach out and connect with you. How can they do that?
Yeah, sure. Just Mike at LSAdigital.com. Just drop me an email and let's chat.
Beautiful. And I'll put it in the chat notes. I'll have his website on there in the show notes. You can be able to reach out to him. Thanks again, Mike. I appreciate it so much, taking the time. And audience, here's your homework at the end. Yeah, I'm a teacher. I love giving. I'm not a teacher. I was never good in school, but I'm giving you homework. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Here's why. As you listen to this, you could take this link and go, Mike's brilliant. I've got people I'm going to share them with after the show gets done once I upload it. And share it with somebody and say, hey, you're dealing with AI, you're struggling. Here, listen to Mike. You impacted them. And maybe it's just they listen, they get excited. They jump in chat GPT, like Mike said. Maybe they email Mike, or maybe they jump on his website. But each time you're impacting them to change the world, their world, which will eventually change the real world. So I'm getting off my pedestal. This is why you subscribe to YouTube or channels, podcast channels, because of that. It doesn't have to be mine. It can be anybody else's. So that being said, me and Mike want to thank all of you for watching or listening to this podcast. We'll see you all in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.